Welcome back, and thanks for checking out this episode. Today, we're going to have a look at one of my childhood obsessions, as well as review the KBB MCS-01 Optimus Prime. I should also mention that the figure was imported and appears to be a knockoff of the MP10 Optimus Prime by Takara. But before we get into the figure, let's take a quick look at the history behind the Transformers. As a kid in the 80s, there were a few cartoons that had me running home from school so I could park myself in front of the TV. This happened every day and I wasn't alone. Most boys my age would do the same thing. The channel was Fox 29 and the shows were Transformers and G.I. Joe. For today though, we're going to put a spotlight on the Transformers. In the 80s, toys and cartoons went hand in hand. Most cartoons back then were really just overly produced commercials made to sell toys, and cereal boxes if you want to be historically accurate. Hasbro was a master at this, with brands like My Little Pony, G.I. Joe, Jem and the Holograms, and of course my favorite, Transformers. Transformers weren't Transformers when they first started. They were first produced as the Microman and Diaclone toy line by Takara Tomy, a Japanese toy company, and later licensed to Hasbro. Having a great toy line isn't enough to sell toys, however. Hasbro needs to rebrand the toy line for the North American market, and to do so, Hasbro turned to Marvel. The one chosen to head this project was Jim Shooter, who later brought in Dennis O'Neil and Bud Budinsky. They were tasked with developing a mythology for the toy line, and the production of a promotional comic. What this means is that Transformers was part of the Marvel Universe. Dennis O'Neil laid the groundwork, and was credited for naming Optimus Prime. Taking what Dennis had formulated, Jim Shooter decided to pass on the project to Bob Budinsky, who filled in the universe and interjected it with the characters that we know today. This was then passed on to writers Bill Mantlo and Ralph Macchio, and pencil artists Frank Springer and inker Kim DeMulder. The comic was very important, as it formed the foundation for the animated TV series. Not everything survived the change from print to screen, however, but the basic essence is there. The primary concept for Generation 1 is the heroic Optimus Prime and the villainous Megatron and their finest soldiers crash-landed on prehistoric Earth on the Ark and the Nemesis before awakening in 1985. The original TV series had a run of 4 seasons, a miniseries, and an animated motion picture. It ran from September 1984 to November 1987. Alright guys, let's move on to the figure. On the front, we have an illustration of Optimus Prime, some nice product shots on the side with MCS-01 clearly visible. On the back, we've got some more product shots with a short description of what you actually get in the box. All in all, the box looks pretty good. Inside the box, you get Optimus Prime transformed as a truck. You also get a backpack, 3 head sculpts, and a nice assortment of weapons. You get 2 guns, a sword, and an axe. Let's take a look at Optimus Prime. Transformed as a truck, he looks pretty sweet. Rubber wheels for that extra bit of realism, alloy parts to give it that extra shine. Looking at the details from front to back, you can tell they took their time on this. And it was worth it. This figure is awesome. Moving on to articulation. Being a Transformer, this thing has a lot of different joints. Transformation is a little difficult at first, but after a few tries, muscle memory kicks in and transformation becomes a breeze. Beginning with the articulation in the arm, the shoulder has a swivel and hinge joint, allowing for a 360 rotation and pivot. Moving on to the elbow, the hinge joint allows the elbow to bend almost 90 degrees. The wrist is on a swivel joint, allowing for 360 rotation as well. And what's really neat is the fingers have joints themselves, allowing you to grip weapons. Moving on to the leg, the thigh joint is a ball joint, allowing for rotation and pivot. The knee is on a hinge joint, allowing for the knee to tilt forward and back. Looking at the tires, 360 rotation all the way. The ankle is on a hinge joint, allowing the toe and heel to tilt back and forth. The torso is on a swivel joint, allowing for 360 rotation, which is actually part of the transformation process and very useful. And finally, the head, which is also on a swivel joint, allowing for 360 rotation and a little bit of up and down tilt. It's time now to let this figure breathe. that's it for today, boys and girls. If you enjoyed the show, please like this video, subscribe, and click the notification button to get notified when a new video is available. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe.